Join the mortgage expert Heath Barnes as he equips loan officers and real estate agents with innovative ideas and tools so you can adapt to the changing environments in the marketplace. Be inspired by stories from some of the top professionals in the mortgage world today as they reveal their secrets of what made them successful while gaining knowledge and insight about how they continue their success regardless of the market conditions. Find out how to build a team and scale your business. Get ready to be more productive while working fewer hours. Here is your host, Heath Barnes.
Welcome to another episode of Mortgages Reimagined. I'm your host, Heath Barnes, and I'm excited to have our guest, Randall Mills. Randall's a former student of mine who's now surpassed me in the mortgage business in only 8 short years. He works for AmeriFirst Financial out of Phoenix, Arizona. And I'm just honored to have you on today, Randall. Welcome.
Yeah, the honor's all mine. So Heath was one of my very first coaches in the core, mentor, person I still look up to, and was super excited to get the call and be on, mortgage lending and reimagine. So I'm to be on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my earlier memories of you is you being on the level 2 coaching, and you were like, "Hey, Heath, can I come in for a site visit?" I'm like, "Well, that's really for level 3." And you're like, "I'll bring my CRM girl." I'm like, "Yeah, don't tell anybody, but I'll let you come down." And you came down and you just soaked it all up. And I can already tell you've implemented just so many things. And anyways, I'd love to hear, I don't think I've ever really heard, how did you get into the business? And maybe share with some of the people that are on the call, because we're going through a tough time right now. Maybe a tough time that you went through and something that you might have learned. So take it away, Randall.
Things are a little tough right now, but with things, chase your mentor. I chased Heath so hard. I wanted his praise. I wanted his acceptance. So I did everything I can to get in front of him also, so I can extract as much as possible from him. Because the site visit for him, yes, I gave him a shiny object. I have a level 3 programmer for a CRM that was amazing on staff. So I was giving to him, but also, givers get. I was actually the one down there using him for all the information I can to build up on this. So I thank him for allowing that. And I think the tough thing with the mental space we're taking up right now where we're at. So we just came out of a biologic pandemic in the world, and now in our industry we're in a mental pandemic. Literally, things are down, things are bad. So in Phoenix, a good month in Phoenix, metropolitan, which by the way is about the size of Delaware, the state. So Phoenix metropolitan is huge. We do about 10,000 transactions. Well, we're down to 7,500 right now.
Wow.
Let that settle in. 7,500 transaction, Heath. That means I'm thinking there's no inventory, rates are bad, everything's bad. What's my real problem? Is it inventory? Is it rates? Or is it market share?
Or
my
mindset.
problem is market share. And I've got a mental pandemic going on in my head like other ones do. It's it's because rates are high. No one's buying homes.
Yeah.
That's the truth. So we got to be really truthful with ourselves about really what's going on out there. And no matter what market you're in, you can be in the smallest town in the world like that. All you have to do is squeak out 5, 10, 15, whatever, your numbers, 20. If there's five deals happening in your market, you can go get those 5 deals. You can
That's
go
right.
get mental clarity to chase them.
You have 7,500 opportunities. That's pretty good. I love what you said, chasing your mentor. So when you first got into the business, who were you chasing? How did you get in and what were you chasing? Why did you want to be in the mortgage business in the first place?
So I was in the commercial world 8 years prior to that and done pretty well. And at the end, all of a sudden, 08 hit and then 10 hit right behind it because the commercial world chases the residential world by a couple of years. So financial blundered at everything. I had the big house, the boats, the cars, the motorcycles, fully leveraged, credit lines, the whole thing. And then all of a sudden the merry-go-round stopped. And I was like, uh-oh. And so I was at the end. So in 2012, I woke up, I went on a vacation with some friends, came back, and my job was no longer available in the commercial world because they're going a different direction. Basically meaning all the deals I'd worked on for a couple of years, they were going to go ahead and keep in-house and just get rid of the sales guy before they close. Well, in the commercial, you get big hits, but you get them far between. So I was planning on this money for living on. So I was destitute. So I talked to my buddies that were in the residential world of finance and said, hey, how you doing? They're like, it's a really good time. So I had to humble up. I mean, really humble up, go to my best friend that I'd known since we were 18 and ask him to borrow $1,000. $1,000. That's all I needed to go get my residential license. I busted my butt 2 weeks later, took the test, passed the test, got out there, started. So then I went to go interview with a job for a company in Nova Home Loans with a great friend of mine, Greg Gay, who was also and then another friend of mine, Mike Serto. They were the big producing guys there. Go and interview for the job, thought I nailed it. And then I called back the regional manager. Her name is Jerry Farr. We're good friends now. And instead of being friends throughout the years, she said, "You're unhireable."
Unhireable.
Unhireable? What do you mean unhireable? I go, I'm a loan officer. I just need to go. I'm creating my own business. She goes, you've done a little bit of like refinance stuff out of college, but you've never done purchase, run a team, know how to prospect. You have nothing in your database right now. You didn't even have people. You have your phone. I go, listen, you give me a job. I'll take, I need a desk and a computer. So Greg and Mike were super cordial. They called the regional manager, said, "Hey, he's on us. We'll take him on. If he fails, we'll take on the salary." So you know how you have the window aisles, like the window offices here, for the big producer. Right. Then you have the interior offices for your loan officer assistants. Then you have the cubicles down the center. Yeah, I got a desk pushed up against the wall behind the cubicles of the assistant processor division.
So that's all the motivation you needed, right?
Oh man, and I started dialing. And then 3 months into it, Heath, just as I started getting some rhythm, they moved the wall back on me 8 inches. So now my back was pressed up against the wall behind me. I literally had to get a chair with no arms on it so I could get in and out of my desk. And then they started construction on the other side of the wall to expand the office. So I had construction dust raining down on me all day long. I'm in a suit and tie. My arms on a hinge, making calls, doing what I'm supposed to. I'd have to get up at lunch every day, clean my entire desk off and all the dust off me. And I out-called everybody. In my first year out, I did 88 transactions.
Wow.
From not knowing anybody to doing that, and climbed at the end of the year to averaging 10 deals a month for 3 months so I could get that window office. Because I saw those guys, the big producers sitting in window offices. I'll tell you what, those big guys weren't easy. I was having a meeting on the floor, like literally in the corner with an agent, like literally had to pull a chair up next to me, super embarrassing. And one of the big guys actually walked up to the agent and handed her a Christmas gift, said, "Hey, good to see you. Come by my office when you're done." Talk about just being this little guy deflated. I'm actually Justin Oliver. We're great friends now. We're having lunch next week, but I never let him forget that. Like how you stepped on a little guy when I came in the door like that. And he goes, "Well, but we're good friends now." So it was an evolution in very humbling.
Yeah.
Borrowing money from your best friend to get a license, sitting on the floor, going from a big glass office building to sitting in the corner.
Yeah. What I hear you saying and what's coming up for me, I recently watched the Tony Hawk documentary on HBO Max. And, what I was impressed upon is how tough it was for him to fit in, just like, and that's what made him great. And so I wonder whether or not you getting that small desk pushed up against the wall and your determination to, I'm going to get that corner office is what propelled you and made you great. So I acknowledge you for that, Randall. I could tell from, just the short time we were coaching together, you had that drive. Where'd that come from?
I think it's one of the things that chip on your shoulder kind of helps out a little bit, proving to everybody that it can be done. Just background, I come from a police family. My father was a police officer and a hobby cop. He was an officer for years, then a hobby cop. And then just dedication to it. The fact that I truly believe that I want more for me. But the thing is, I saw this great quote the other day. It's like, before you buy something, would you, if nobody else could see it, would you still buy it? And for me, I'm a kind of a private person when it comes to those kind of things. Like, I got myself kind of like a reward gift for being brought up as a coach. Never post on social media, never tell anybody about it like that. It's a personal thing for me. So it's just personal drive things that if I'm going to get into it, just like, I do a professional off-road racing and rock crawling. If I'm going to get into it, I'm going to go full bore on it. I'm going to make sure I'm the best that I can be on it and push myself harder. And literally all I'm doing, like with work, I give it 8 hours a day, sometimes 9, we're getting busy. But I make sure my 8 and 9 hours is fully focused. People talk about work-life balance.
Right.
I do not believe in that at all. Either I'm fully at work or I'm fully at home off work. I don't mix the two. I don't try to balance either one. I give it all at my office all day long. Check out when I'm done. When I'm at home with the family, I am fully home with the family.
Yeah, no,
So
I
it's just
agree with that.
a little
No
thing.
such thing as balance. You're either all in or you're not, when you're at
Yeah.
work, you're all in. So for those that are, that are going through a tough time right now, we talked earlier about getting back to the basics. And, for me, that's, making the phone calls. And I can already tell you're probably an expert at making those phone calls. So for our listeners, like, what are you doing right now to get back to the basics?
Honestly, a lot of it comes down to just like, calendar. Everything's color coded down to the last minute. There's no white time in my schedule or there's free time on it. I even have a chess clock that sits on my desk, the red and a green button. I time myself how much green time, true green time during the day. Social media is only digested during the day for the fact of, we're all kind of real estate pirates. Like I get my ideas for videos and everything. We'll talk a little bit about that. But from social media, get on trends, but don't copy and paste it. So really just, in my theme days, I have 5 theme days coming from our coaching program that I adhere to, and I make sure I don't deviate off them. It's a simple plan. We make phone calls to get appointments, with realtors. We make follow-up phone calls to get leads from realtors.
Right.
That's it. We overcomplicate it with everything else in the world to do. Just make more calls to more realtors to get leads from more realtors and follow up.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is use your calendar, follow your calendar, and do what you put on your calendar. So back to your calendar. So just for our listeners, like, tell me how what are the colors you use for your calendar and what do they symbolize?
So a big thing like that, if you look at my calendar like that, if you're online, you can see it. Yellow is the most attractive color to the eye. So you can see a lot of yellow in there. Yellow are all my face-to-face meetings. That way I can look at weeks ahead of time, make sure there's lots of yellow splash. I'm doing good. Green is my marketing time, true marketing time. Like I have my theme days, not just, hey, I need in green time. It's, well, here's what you're doing in green time. Red time costs me money. Like I've got this Friday on that stuff, I've got a town hall meeting coming up for our company. That's red time for me. It does not make me money being in a town hall meeting.
I like that.
And then team meetings for me are just blue. It's neutral. It's not making me money, not costing me money, but it is something forward in my business. So I just minimize the red, maximize the green, and yellow's got to be everywhere. I've got to be face to face with my people, and even managing time, because people are like, oh, I'm out of the office so much. Well, every drive is 20 to 30 minutes each way, right? So that's a round trip. So my assistant will actually load my calls into my phone and my email. Doesn't have to be a fancy system. Just put in my email. And when your email sees a phone number, it makes it click to dial. So she knows if I have a 20-minute drive, I need 20 phone calls loaded to my phone for each direction. So when I get in the car, I'm walking down the stairs, I'm on my first call, and it's just click dial, click dial, click dial. So even when I'm going to appointments, I'm going back and forth. If I show up 5 minutes early, I'm on the phone dialing people. I'm not on social media, jacking around on that, or calling my girlfriend or calling a buddy like that. They know, even my girlfriend, she knows, don't call me during the day. She's like, house is on fire, not a fireman. I have a heart attack, not a doctor. So she knows if she leaves me alone for 8 hours during the day, I can give her 8 hours at night. If she intrudes into my 8 hours during the day, then I have to intrude to her 8 hours, because you sleep 8 hours, you recreate 8 hours, and you work 8 hours. So you want me to take time away from us? Call me during the day. And I got to work longer. So those things, minimizing the distractions, making sure you know who you're going to call, and then optimize every minute. Again, walking down the stairs, walking to your car, you can make 1 or 2 phone calls or messages or get a hold of somebody just walking to your car. So why wouldn't we maximize our day? So when we punch the clock, we're done.
What I hear you saying is net time. No extra time. You're utilizing every minute of the day. And for those listening, I mean, if you don't have an assistant, you could send yourself a timed email when you're actually going to be in your car. But I like that. I'm gonna steal that from you. I love that email idea. So let's just for the callers. Some people might not know what the theme days. Just roll through those theme days real quick.
Yeah. So theme days, Monday, I call my top 40 agents. Those are the ones that I'm in a relationship that I am their guy. I'm not one of 3. I'm not one of 5. I am their guy. Those are the ones that I pour into most. And then I have realtor prospects. So all my listing agents, the Monday after we close a transaction, they automatically go to my list. And if you don't have a CRM to do it, you can just do it on Excel. Keep putting them on your list of all your prospects, who you need to stay in front of, whose names you see on social media. Because just like I chase Heath to be in his circle, I chase whales. I'm a whale hunter to stay in their circle, stay in front of them, make sure I get to know them, make sure I can be of value to them. So Monday, theme day call is top 40 in realtor prospects. Tuesday, I call everybody in transaction. I call the buyer's agent, give them that. Even if I talked to the buyer's agent yesterday, I call them, say, hey, it's Randall with your Tuesday update. My top 40, they've heard this for 8 years from me, but I still announce that it's a Tuesday update call. So they know what we're talking about. I call the clients, update them. So I kind of cumulative on the week, what's been happening. Do not hand these calls off to your team, guys. You are the salesman. This is your time to shine with them. This time to get your CCRs, what we call current client referrals, and stay in front of them. And then there's the listing agent. They have to take your call, Heath. If you call them, you leave a good enough message. Heath, Randall Mills with AmeriFirst. Hey, I need to talk to you about 123 Maple Street. Give me a call as soon as you can.
Yeah, I love
that.
They
will call you back, and then you update them and you stay in front of them. And that's how you grow your business, because even if you only do 5 transactions a month, can you imagine if you got all 5 listing agents to work with you at that every month on that stuff? That's 60 new agents that can average you 2 to 3 deals. So there's no excuse saying, I'm not big enough to do it. No, we just don't convert enough. We don't sell hard enough. So focus on that. So that's a big day.
Yeah. One thing I heard from someone recently that they added to calling the listing agents, they actually look up the seller and they call the seller directly. Like as soon as they get the contract, they'll call the seller and introduce you. I thought that was brilliant. You might step on some toes, but I love that idea because you're calling the seller saying, hey, I just want to introduce myself. You probably just want to make sure this is closed on time, but I just want to introduce myself. And he said he at least 1 out of 5, he ends up at least quoting them a new mortgage. So anyways, I'll let you continue. Wednesday,
I'm going to steal that. I don't know if I'm strong enough to call them, but just sending them a piece of mail, because you know the name, you know the address, sending them just a piece of mail, introducing yourself and all that stuff, just a soft to see if you get a response. I'm writing that down. So,
on most contracts, the seller's email will be on there. So, you can easily input that information into Google and typically find their number. So Wednesday, what do you do on Wednesdays?
Wednesday, hot leads and pre-quals. So pre-quals, here's the thing. Here's where I think we're broken as an industry. And this is going to be everybody, you, me, Heath, all my friends. We always track lead to application to pre-qual to contract, and contract to funding, right? So lead to contract. What's a good number? We're usually pretty happy with 30%, right? 30 or 40, maybe even 50% of your pre-quals.
Oh, yeah.
So we're okay with that as an industry. Where did we get so bad where we realized that we spend all the time finding a realtor that actually liked us enough to give us a lead, and a client that actually answered the phone, actually gave us documents and then qualified with us. And then we qualify them. Then we as an industry say, call us when you find something. And then we go back and go find another agent with another lead and chase down another client, instead of incubating and talking to that pre-qual. So I've changed my entire business practice where my number 1 day is now pre-qual calling over Mondays. We used to be Mondays for getting new stuff. The bird in the hand theory. So if I want to double my business, Heath, I don't have to make one more call, talk to one more agent, or get one more lead. I just need to close the pre-quals I have.
Yeah.
That's simple. So I built out a follow-up system, 360-day, and it's over 100 points on a pre-qual follow-up system. I just started 2 weeks ago, because I looked at my numbers and I was sick to my stomach of, man, I'm letting go of over half my business or 2/3 of my business right now, because I'm so worried about getting something new versus taking care of what I have.
Yeah. One of the things that I've done recently to change my pre-qual routine is I find if a new lead comes in and you pre-qual them, you give them a letter, like you're not calling them back. I try to take every pre-qual through the underwriting process, and I keep them on my calendar until they're 100% approved. And then they fall into a 2-week, every 2 weeks, they're all on the calendar at the same time. So if you're having trouble keeping track, that would be my suggestion. So who do you call on Thursdays?
Thursdays on that, we're calling our past clients. Get into past clients, make sure I stay in a relationship with them. I get now to the point in my career, I get, automatically I just have the anniversaries that pop up every week. So after years, again, you have, you're going to have 20, 30 people pop up every week because they just keep gaining and bigger and bigger and bigger. Stay in front of them, talk to them. But now it's always like, God, what do I talk to my past clients about? Hey, Heath, Randall Mills over at AmeriFirst, just call them to check in. This isn't a 12-step program. We need to call and check in on our clients. They don't want to hear from us or anything. So call with value and purpose. So I do an anniversary call. I do a birthday call, and sandwich in between there, I do a HomeBot call. So if you guys are not on HomeBot, you are missing the boat.
Yes.
My open rate on HomeBot is over 86%. And that's, a true open rate. And it gives me reports and everything. So we can talk about that. But so I'll call them and say, hey, Heath, just calling to check in on your HomeBot. I noticed your value has gone up. I see you've been looking at it. We can see the whole thing. So a valuable call to them. Anniversary calls are like, I can't believe it's been 2 years. By the way, you just made a bunch of money, because 2 years in, you don't have to pay taxes anymore on owner-occupied property. Can you leave this 3 years? What's changing your life? Is your family getting bigger? Is your debt, this, that, whatever it may be, but it's always with a purpose. And birthday calls are only birthday calls on their birthday. That's the only time I break my theme day calls with past clients. But anniversaries, just hit it pretty close. HomeBot calls, bring value to them. Quit just calling to check in on them, because they can smell the commission breath. When you call check in, they're basically saying, I'm starving, I need to leave. But those ones that I am in a good relationship with, I'd be like, hey, Heath, I'm struggling a little bit right now with business. Can you do me a favor? Do you have, not saying send me to anybody in real estate. I go, do you have any friends that are renting right now? Be specific and targeted with your questions. Yeah. Or, hey, do you have any of your friends that have lived in their house for over 5 years? You know what that tells me? They've got about 60% equity right now if they haven't tapped into
totally. Especially with as much as the market's gone up. Like one of the things I started doing a couple of weeks ago, Randall, which I think our listeners might get some value from, is I took all of my FHA files, and I have about 150, and we called all of them and just said, hey, we noticed your value has gone up, and we think it might be a good time to look at refinancing. And right now, if you look at the MI and their interest rate, most of them are going to be between, if you figure in, okay, what's their real interest rate? It's going to be between 4.5 and 5.5. And I can't tell you how many I'm refinancing right now to a higher interest rate, because either one, we're going to refinance in their student loans. For those listening, if you don't know, if you refinance a conventional FHA loan, you can include in student loans without it be considering a cash out. So anyways, I don't know if that helps, but
there's your golden nugget right there.
Yeah. So FHA calls. We're hitting it. It's been a home run for us recently, but so thank you for bringing that up. I love previous clients. How about on Friday? What do you do on Fridays?
Fridays are VIPs. That's people that refer us outside of real estate agents. And a lot of people are like, man, I don't know where to get those. So I'm going to give you your second little golden nugget here. How to build your VIP list. This is super easy. Okay. You get 10 categories. Let's say it's CPAs, trust accountants, an accountant, divorce attorneys, whatever, 10 good categories. And then you go to Facebook, divide your city into 5 quadrants: north, south, east, west, and central. Go to Facebook, hey, looking for a licensed CPA in the North Valley and then the West Valley. Please only refer if you use them. You'll get 2 or 3 referrals from it, because everybody loves referring people, guys. Remember this in your business. People love referring people. Right. I get the call as a warm lead. Like, hey, Heath, Randall Mills over. I don't even actually announce who I am. I'm like, it's Randall Mills. Hey, I had a guy, Rick Ruby, refer me over to you for a CPA. You know Heath? Yeah. Well, Heath was nice enough. We're connected through social media. Can I come by your office for 15 minutes to talk? I've got clients that are going to need your help, and I just want to come by and meet you first. What do you think their answer is going to be 100% of the time?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, come by. So then you talk to them, and you don't tell them what you do. Stop the marketing mode. Don't even wear your name tags. Go in there dressed professionally. Ask them about their business. What do they do? What are they looking for? If they're going to be a good referral partner back, they'll say, Randall, what can I do for you? What do you do? I'm like, well, I'm a loan officer. I'm a real estate agent. This is for realtors too, guys. And I'm going to have clients that have needs. So I'll check in with you every once in a while just to see if anything's changed and things I need to know and talk to my clients about. But I'm going to be on the lookout for you. If that's okay. And you wait for them to say, well, I'll do the same. Every 5 weeks, follow up with them. Call 12 every Friday. Every 5 weeks, follow up with them. Hey, Heath, I haven't seen anything out there for you. Anything change in the CPA world or the divorce world or the trust world or whatever they do? I'm looking out for you. And if they say the correct thing without asking, I'm looking out for you too. If they don't, go back to Facebook, find somebody new. But you can build a 60-person referral list out of all those categories and then keep growing it and growing it. And now it's a warm handoff. Now we don't have to worry about cold calling and being scared about it. And you have a whole new revenue source, because guess what? Divorce doesn't care where the economy's at. In fact, the worse it gets, the higher divorce gets. And there's 3 transactions sitting there, a sale and 2 buys. Wouldn't you love to go to your realtor and say, hey, I've got a sale and 2 buys for you?
So what I hear you saying, getting back to the basics, and the theme days are Monday, you have a top 40 list or your top agents. Tuesday updates. Wednesday are pre-approvals. Is that right?
Yeah, pre-approvals.
Thursday, previous clients, and then Friday, VIP. I'm going to steal that idea with the Facebook. I like that. Awesome. Well, let's shift gears a little bit. You know, when we were talking earlier before our call, you were telling me kind of how your routine in the morning with social media. I think that would be super valuable for our listeners. Tell me what you do as far as social media and how you review social media in the morning. Yeah.
So when I get up in the morning, just sitting there with my coffee, it's kind of quiet time like that. Don't have to worry about anything. I'll just review social media because it's a twofer. You want to be on social media because we all want to be connected and all that stuff. So it's kind of a little bit of screwing off time, but I'm looking for good things out there. And there's a lot of things trending in real estate. Like we had that whole marry the house, date the rate, that went on social media. And the worst thing I saw were people literally copying and pasting the exact page with the exact emojis and putting it out. Well, the first time someone saw that, like, oh, wow, that's really good. Then all of a sudden, if you know more than one loan officer or more than one realtor, and you see that coming in the exact same thing from somebody else, it just lessened your whole value because you're like, oh, Randall's nothing but a copy and paster. So I even tried it myself. I came up with original content with emojis and everything, very specific, put it out there. It got copied and shared over 200 times with people that I know. And I'm like, okay, so that light went off my head. So instead, what I do, I take things that are trending out there and I just take a screenshot. So I'm on social media, just click the phone, take a screenshot, and I put into a folder in my email called Randall's Video Action Items. And then when I'm ready to shoot a video, I'll go in that folder and look at things that just kind of excite me for the day or whatever I want to shoot, because I'm a one and done shooter. I don't overproduce it. I know where to put my lighting and sound. I just shoot it and send it. And I'll give you a couple of tactics on that. But get what's trending out there, but do a video every time, because nobody can copy and paste your video, but your video will get shared with your partners. And therefore, for us, for social media, I truly believe for loan officers, is brand recognition. We're not going to generate many leads, maybe 1 or 2 a year if we get lucky. We're not realtors that are generating clients off it. I want brand recognition. So when that realtor thinks about something, they're like, man, Randall said this, Randall's on top of things. He's out there, he's a good person. Kind of like, with your podcast here, you get a little more eyes on you. Then all of a sudden you're now the expert in your field, in your area, and you've got great brand recognition.
So what are you thinking about when you're recreating these ideas, when you're posting these videos? Like when you think about your brand, like what do you go through in your mind? And do you have a checklist that you go through? What are you thinking of before you post that video or before you shoot it?
Big thing, sound and lighting.
Okay.
Lighting and backdrop. Like if you have a nice backdrop, like if you notice behind me here, I have like the light on the wall, everything is worked out nice. So I know where I'm shooting my office every time, so I can set it up in 2 minutes. I shoot it one time, but what I do, like iPhone 13, if you don't have one, get one, because this has the same powerful camera as one of those DSLR cameras that are $5,000. You get the same quality, and it's got a cinematic view on it. So it gives a really sharp, clear, crisp picture. Optics are everything. If you're scrolling through Facebook and you see something sharp, in resolution, right lighting and background, you'll get people to stop. Second, after I shoot that on my phone, then I upload it into Instagram, because Instagram will do the captioning for you. Just let's think about it, guys. Let's be honest. Most of the time you're listening to audio on there, you're usually listening to a place you shouldn't be listening to audio, like in a meeting or you're in a waiting room or something like that, or sitting at a restaurant, and you're not going to sit there and listen to it or put your earbuds in to do it. You're going to be reading it. The captioning. It's kind of like, you ever been to a restaurant that has closed captioning on TV on football, and you find out that you're reading football more than you're watching football? We're just trained to read. So that captioning is key to my audience, so that way they can digest it in a lot more places. So got to have that. Now you got to have good sound too, because if they are listening to you, if you sound like you're far away in a tin can like this, and even like, even before I came on your podcast, you asked, do you have a professional microphone? Because you need to, you're coming across really clearly. So those are the tips on it to make sure lighting, sound, and captioning, and make sure it's visually interesting. Because I'll even put like little emojis or things popping up and moving that creates movement. Because when you see that on there, and Instagram's a great editor for that. But honestly, I shoot it once and send it, because even if I make a mistake and if I stuttered like that, the captioning won't pick it up, or you can fix the captioning so they're still reading slides right through it. They never know. And I'm never like start, stop, editing. So basic stuff, but just get it out there, my man. Just shoot it.
Yeah. How often are you posting?
2 to 3 times a week.
What platforms?
I work on I'm almost all Instagram and Facebook, because I was sending stuff out of my database, and I realized this. So it's easier to pull a rope than it is to push a rope. So if I'm pushing things on people, I'm invading their space and I'm invading their email. But when people go to social media, what are they there to digest? Videos and content. They're asking for something to come to them. That's why they're there. So I changed my entire strategy to a digestion platform instead of me trying to shove my way into it.
Yeah. So, I mean, social media is definitely a place people go. In fact, I was on a call yesterday with a guy who was, had found another lender. He was looking for a commercial lender, and he had found a bad commercial lender on social media and wanted to go back to social media to find another lender, which was commercial. But anyways,
what we do, I mean, that's where we get our news from. That's where we get our facts from. I mean, it's crazy. So I like to be present on there, because most people, or they're going to fact check you. They're going to see your name. They're going to type in social media. I talked to a client the other day. We kind of connected because, again, I have that whole off-roading, fabricating, racing side to me, and he did the motorcycles and cars thing. Literally within 20 minutes of me hanging up on Instagram, Anthony wants to connect with you. He looks me up immediately because he wants to see, am I the real deal about the off-road racing stuff I talked about? And am I the real deal on mortgages? So it's got to be a good balance on both sides. I have personal, I have business, but you have to be authentic on both sides. And I used to think, Heath, you saw me back in the day when I came to chase your office, man, Heath was probably laughing his tail off of me, because I come in full suit and tie, this, that, everything super stuffy, had to think that I had to be perfect, and my presence had to be all polished. And man, I'll be honest, at that point, I was barely doing any business. I couldn't afford the girl that I had with me on my marketing team. I was just strapped to get that. I was a duck. They stay smooth on the surface and paddling like hell underneath to stay alive. And I realized that point. Then I got to one point. Then one of my coaches finally told me, guy, Jimmy Reed, you remember, you're a good friend.
Oh yeah. I talked to him yesterday.
Good guy. He's like, you are so unapproachable.
Yeah.
That hit me hard. I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, you're too perfect. You got this perfect life, your perfect hair, you're this, your suit and your tie. He goes, man, I'm scared of you. I'm a coach and I'm scared of you like that. And he goes, you need to like that. And that hit me hard. There's been those transformational minutes and people that you talk to in your life that just said, like, one of the former coaches, Todd Screaming, he's like, why don't you listen to what I tell you to do? Do I make more money than you? Yeah. Do I have a bigger business? Yeah. Am I more fit? I'm like, well, he goes, I am. I'm like, all right. And he goes, why don't you listen to me? So kind of the thing out there, guys, if you're going to find someone to follow, I mean, you don't go to the biggest person, the most overweight person, and say, hey, what are you doing for your health? You don't go to the brokest person asking for financial advice, but who gives you the most financial advice online?
Who's that?
People.
Yeah.
All the talking heads out there, the head of our coaching program went out and looked for all the talking heads on TV telling you what to do with your money. He said, there's only 2 people that have more money than I do. So I listen to those 2 people. If you don't have more money than me, I'm probably not listening to you. So find that good mentor, find that platform, that person that connects you. Do this because, overweight people always want to tell you, hey, here's my health tips and health advice. And you're like, I love the fact that they're trying hard, but if I'm finding a personal trainer, I want the guy to look like what I want to look like, or her, whatever it may be. If financially healthy, I'm going to find someone that's financially healthy that can find me through that. And you had Justin Brown on a couple of weeks ago, something like that, or whatever. Probably one of the smartest guys out there when it comes to buying investment properties and strategies and all that stuff. And he's a former person I trained in the business. Now he's become like you said, he rocketed past me. He's so big. He's so good at what he does, so smart, but he's authentic him. But he's that expert in the field that I'm going to go find to do these things, because he doesn't just talk about it. He has the portfolio that I want to have someday. So just find your people.
Well, it looks like that duck has turned into an eagle. through listening to feedback. And it's nothing better in life than to have someone to give you direct feedback. And feedback is not good or bad. It's just information. And I think for those listening like you, when it hits home and it hurts, that's because it's probably true. So my hat's off to you for listening to that feedback and making some adjustments. And I appreciate you being on today, but I would love, before I let you go, if the audience would like to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Social media, you can always get me on there. Instagram, I'm Phoenix Mortgage Man. So at Phoenix Mortgage Man. You can reach me directly. Phone number 602-717-1007. That's my direct cell phone. Cool. I'll take people. I do just help people out. I've had so many people pour into me that I want to pour back into people. It's definitely the pay it forward theory, because I am here today because Greg Gale and Mike Serto said, I will stand up for you as a friend. I'm here because my buddy Michael Messer lent me the $1,000 to get my license. And the fact that I went and fought for my job with Jerry Farr, she said, you're unhireable. I'm like, I'll take the smallest corner desk with just give me a phone and a computer. That's all I need. No other money. And so I appreciate all those people, because they've been the building blocks of transformation in my life. Totally. And then everything for the core. It's one of those things. They say you do the work, but without the brother and sisterhood there and everybody pouring into me and everything I've done with that, I wouldn't be where I am today. Totally.
Well, my hat's off to you. Before I let you go, I'd love for you to leave with the audience maybe a favorite book or favorite quote, something they could take with them.
Man, I read John Maxwell's Leadership Promises for Every Day. It's always got a good message. Even like today, it talks about topical in our industry. When you fail forward. Everybody fails, errs, and makes mistakes. You've heard the saying, to err is to human. Rule 1, learn the lesson. 2, there are no mistakes, only lessons. 3, a lesson is repeated until it is learned. Let that one sit in, guys.
Yeah, I love that.
If you don't learn the easy lessons, they get harder. And 5, you'll know you've learned a lesson when your actions change. So those little things, that's why I like this message every day. It's very brief and also has a little biblical thing up on top there if you want to get into that side of it. But it's amazing how those things time out, because, everybody has problems on their teams and clients and industry and all that stuff. And the big rule I have with everybody, my students and everybody else, is just don't fail twice. You're going to fail once. That's great. Have your pity party for 5 minutes. Like the book, The Gap and the Gain. Live in the gain, not the gap. Look at where you come. Don't worry about where you haven't been. And get over your pity party. You get your 5 minutes like that, and then get back in there, stand up and go do what you need to do.
Well, it seems like you've been doing what you need to do. So I appreciate you being on today. I'm sure I got 2 pages of notes. I'm looking forward to our next time that you come on, because I'd love to have you back and talk more about social media. Thanks for being here today, Randall.
Hey, Heath, I appreciate you, man. It's always good to see you.
Take care.
Thank you for listening today. Hopefully this discussion inspires you by providing new tools to shape your business so you can become a more innovative and cutting-edge professional in the mortgage space. Join Heath in more conversations with the industry's top leaders by subscribing to the podcast at www.heathbarnes.com. That's www.heathbarnes.com.